Hello everybody and welcome to the epic conclusion of Season 2 2023. Here we are in the semifinals. It's going to be Zerg versus Protoss. Start it off with game number 1. Our first players of the night, Shine, spawning down here in the bottom left. Best in the center right. We are here on Neo Medusa. What do you think about them sending out Shine first?
Honestly, it kind of is a bit of a telltale sign that we might be seeing some cheesy play, or at least something very specific planned for this map with the back temples and slightly bit of a off-meta style of play suiting this map, like maybe lurker drops or busting down the temples and just getting up onto the mineral lines with lurkers. There's so many different things you could do in a cheesy manner in this game, and Shine's the man for the job if that is the game plan here. Could even just be a little bit of a mind game to make Best a little bit uneasy going up against Shine in the first game here, so would be interested to see what both players have planned out.
Yeah, Shine definitely known for some 2-hatch plays, some crazy early drops, lurker plays. Anything can come out of this man. He's also perfectly capable of playing a normal game. I think it would be kind of cool to see him do something like a quick 3-hatch before gas, something like that. Maybe 3-hatch before pool if he's getting really frisky. But he could take advantage of Best here because Best, he tends to play in a pretty standard style, and it looks like he's going to be going for that Forge first this game.
Yeah, not only is he going for the Forge first, but he's actually going to be scouting Shine last. So Shine's going to get away with a 12-hatch here. So if he wanted to, he could maybe get away with the 3-hatch before pool. He will have to be really on top of his drone scouting and control to make sure he doesn't let a cannon rush go up from Best. But Best also might be not too confident in going for that cannon rush as well. So curious to see whether or not we will be seeing a potential cannon rush from Best on this situation, but I honestly don't think we will see. I think he's going to come behind the minerals and maybe threaten it a little bit. He could also later on threaten the third with a cannon rush, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that. And we do see the pool coming down from Shine, so not going to be going for that 3-hatch before pool after all.
Yeah, I don't think this is a great map for cannon rush, but I could be mistaken. Regardless, here Shine going to bring out the drone and just scout that, make sure that it doesn't come down uncontested, and Bez's just going to come here into the main, check everything out. Going to come up to the third base, potentially for a block as well. This base, he would love to throw this down right on time here, but Bez is not going to let that happen. Continuously diving in. Oh, nice block there. Slowing that down as much as possible.
Yeah, really good probe control, just getting into the hex tile of the hatchery trying to be placed at the very last microsecond. They're really understanding just how far away he can run of his probe before diving right back in. Look at that phenomenal control from Best. They're blocking it over and over again. Finally does Shine get that hatchery down, but great blocking. Also able to get his gateway before even placing down the cannon, and with the gas also ahead of the cannon as well, going to be lining himself up quite nicely to deal with this 3-hatch potential spire play coming up from Shine.
Looks like he will track down the probe. That sneaky probe, trying to find a tight little corner there to hide. Does get spotted and will be tracked down here. Shine very good with his early Ling control. Has 4 Lings now ready to go to try to track this down. Getting rid of this probe is of utmost importance, especially for a player like Shine, and he does manage to do it. Lair on the way here. Yeah.
I don't think he saw the lair start as well. I think the Lings kept the probe out of the range of the hatchery, so he doesn't know for sure whether or not this is lair or Ling speed first. And this also could be a 973 for all he knows, so it's really punishing for Best to be in the dark here. Great catch on that probe with the Shine's Lings. They're going to be opening up things really strong for the Zerg lineup. And let's talk a little bit about this lineup here while we've got a few moments. We've got Soma, Soulkey, Action, and Shine going up against Bisu, Best, Snow, and Mini. So phenomenal players from both sides, and I think this is a lineup that definitely pros could get a win here in this week.
Yeah, if Bisu pops off once again, anything can happen, man. They haven't been doing well throughout the entire season, but last week was fantastic showing from Bisu. Now with the +1 on the way here, we're gonna come up to the front. Shine hasn't allowed any zealots out onto the map, and he's not allowing a probe out either. This probe, I think, is going to throw down a pylon on the high ground here. Or will it try to throw down a pylon to jump that? Is that possible to jump the temple with the pylon?
I'm not actually entirely sure. I think maybe you can. Maybe it's quite difficult to achieve. I think he was just trying to scout to see if there was anything trying to do damage to the temples in any way, shape, or form. We did see a very fast Hydra Den coming out from Shine here, so we could be seeing a little bit of lurker shenanigans, I believe. And with the second gas being taken as early as he has managed to do so, I very strongly believe he is going to be doing quite a bit of a damage to Best in the near future. He will at the very least start making these lurkers out on the map. We may even see eventually some kind of a drop play as well, or it could just be a contain. But I think it's very likely we might be seeing lurkers being made out on the map and then trying to hit down these natural temples leading to the base in the back. So could be a really punishing play here from Shine if he's able to get out and be undetected with these 4 Hydras that will be morphing into lurkers shortly.
Yeah, this has gone completely unscouted by Best. He's just killing an Overlord here, so by the time he makes his way into the main base here for Shine, he is going to have no clue that lurkers are being made. Everything is going to look very, very normal here, except for, of course, the lack of Spire. There's a layer with no Spire. That's it's a little bit suspicious. The cannon is already coming up in the main, making sure he's got some sort of defenses at that base as well, but that's not going to be enough if lurkers kill the temple and make their way up there.
No, but if he's on top of things, he will see that these lurkers are here with these. Yeah, look, the lurkers burrowing right in range of the pylon. So even if Best wasn't paying attention, he would have seen that red dot there. So he's gonna be tipped off immediately to this threat. So he's gonna have some chance to defend against this. He's gonna be throwing down probably a pylon on his high ground behind his minerals in the main, and then maybe try and put some cannons there, try and buy himself some time so he doesn't take too much economic damage. Because if the lurkers do get behind the mineral line and start laying siege to the probes, then he will at the very least be reduced to 1 base worth of production. So instead, going to be making a DT and trying to get on top of this while he still can. There is no Overlord here right now, so this DT is a bit of a threat to Shine's aggression.
Absolutely, this DT absolutely kills this attack, but not if it gets killed by the lurker spines. Oh my god, 6 HP. Oh man, he may end up losing this right here, right now. No good dodging there. Oh, but he targets his own link.
He targets his own Zergling, saying what a phenomenal play from Shine, picking off that DT without any detection whatsoever. The 2 cannons behind the middle line have finished, but this might not be enough. Shine has some Hydras here with speed. Going to be getting on top of these 2 Proton cannons, targeting down one immediately. The other 4 lurkers burrow and target the other one down as well. Now this whole base area is exposed. Probes evacuating to the natural. There's 1 cannon finished in the main middle line with 2 more finishing up, but Shine might have enough DPS to break this right now, saying.
He is going to break this, and he forces all the probes away. This is going to be such an epic technical takedown from Shine. He's going to throw his lurkers here into the natural. All the probes are located here. Oh my god, the spines are insane. 11 kills already. Whoa. Big 18 now on this 1 lurker. He's gonna lose some of these Templar as well. That's so frustrating here for Best. There's really no way to come back from this position. 20 kill lurker. Oh my god.
Yeah, and there's more units being rallied across the field right now as well. So Shine can reinforce this position if he so choose. He might lay siege to the natural right now, and maybe he has a choice between killing the Forge and the Gateway in the natural, or coming into the main base with these exposed temples. Now he has plenty more Hydras. He can come into the main and start being more and more annoying for Best right now, and it's going to be really frustrating. Right now there's a very low drone count, it can be said, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to be making more and more lurkers and keep assaulting this position in the main base, and this mineral line is extremely exposed, so it might be really tough for Best to hang on here. We have some speed overlords now as well to provide detection if there was another DT, and there is in fact another DT right now. There's also an observer to help spot for these lurkers, but if it gets too close to these Hydras, the Hydras may snipe that observer. There'll be no way of detecting the lurkers that are also morphing in the back here coming up shortly.
Running down this ramp is going to be a bit rough with the Templar here at the bottom, but he doesn't really need to get down here right now. He just needs to get lurkers set up in position and start to hit these probes. He'll force out the storms here, and actually running right on down this ramp Best just a little bit slow at casting those storms, trying to get the prime hits. Is going to lose one of those Templar, and the ramp has been broken here once again. Lurkers are on high ground, are going to be able to hit all of these probes. Lurker drop? Was this a lurker drop? Yeah, this is 2 fresh lurkers. My god.
I think so, yeah.
Shine.
Wow.
Bringing out the
Shine's
lurker
a beast.
drop as well. Oh, this is so brutal.
Yeah, this is like a multi-stage cheese. It's not just one. It's not just one stage of a cheese that he's executing here. There's multiple stages to this aggression that's he's lining up. So there's multiple ways he can win the game from here, and it's going to be really tough for Best to stabilize now. Hydra's attacking the forge at the front. No more photon cannons will be able to be made until he remakes that forge, and Best is on a very low counter move. Just going to be diving into the natural and getting that high tempo with no energy and start chewing away at these photon cannons while the lurkers bar on top. GG is called from Best. Well executed cheese from Shine in game number 1 here.
Okay, next up we've got Mini spawning here in the bottom right, Shine in the bottom left. Quite the tricky game there for Shine in that last one. Very, very sneaky stuff with the lurker play, and the follow-up drop was brilliant to take that game. But will he have another build such as that to take down Mini with? This guy has some tricks up his sleeve as well, so we'll see.
Yeah, Mini's not someone to clown around with. He's basically the Protoss version of Shine, and much like Shine, can also play a very solid normal standard game as well. So it will be really exciting to see if there's going to be fireworks between these two guys. But I don't think Shine's going to be able to get away with the same kind of lines of cheese that he could use against someone like Best, against someone like Mini, because Mini's very adept at doing gateway expand. But he's going to be throwing down the forge with a double scout here. Okay, I think we had some cannon rush in mind here for Mini going into this game. Let's see if we're going to be seeing a pull first or a hatchery first from Shine. It's going to be 11 hatch, so interestingly enough, could be seeing a very fast cannon rush here. So,
yeah, that really seems to be the way that Mini is going. I guess he saw that 12 hatch last game and thought, hey, you can't get away with that against me. Throws down the pylon immediately. Here comes Shine with the drones. You can hop over the pylon that's about to be thrown down here by making a gas or by trying to mine this bottom patch. Try to hop this over. Oh,
Mini can make a third pylon temporarily or a cannon. Oh, he gets one, but he needs another one, saying one's not going to be enough. Oh, he gets the second one. Oh, it slides back. Oh, this is really unfortunate for Shine. Wait, what the Protoss player can do here before the forge is ready, he is going to lose this probe if he's not careful. Manages to pull that back. Another probe is coming. Gets the drone kill as well. Really well played from Mini. The thing here is that he can make another pylon to stop the drones from being able to get over and attack the probe, because they glitch out once they get over on top of the pylon. And once the forge is finished, you can then cancel the pylon and make the cannon when it's ready to go down. So really well executed so far from Mini. Might be losing this probe if he probe survives with just 4 HP, so barely survived, and well calculated so far from Mini. Not going to be losing that probe to that drone either, so going to be able to now cancel that pylon and optimize his cannon rush even further. Trying to get out with the probe, but not able to do so.
Yeah, that was a bit foolish, I feel, for Shine, trying to... Oh god, he's gonna put that in range as well. Just putting the drone over the wall there. One drone, as it's coming over the wall, is gonna get hit first by the probe, and then you're not gonna be able to win that trade. So a little bit silly for Shine to try and go for that. Second cannon is gonna finish up here. The DPS on the hatchery is gonna be very, very strong now. Quite a few lings have popped out. He's gonna lose one more. Gonna go for the larva here, but the pylon is being attacked now by the sunken colony. He can get it to trick out and actually hit the cannon, but now we're gonna go forward with the lings. Can he actually kill this? It's getting very, very low. This cannon is super, super close, but it survives. Both of them survive, and the hatchery is gonna go down. GG. Shine taps out. Wow.
Really well executed.
Cheesing him out there. Oh no. Oh no. That's not how you want to go down. We haven't seen someone lose to a cannon rush in KCM for quite a long time. Seasons and seasons, I think, but there you have it. Cheese out on Vermeer. Shine taps out, and Mini's gonna go forward. And after 2 back-to-back very quick cheese games, we're gonna jump into game number 3. Mini here in the bottom left versus Action in the top left. We are on Polypoid. And no sort of cheese builds this game. Please, I want to see a good game with Action in the late game. PVZ.
Yeah, I think it's likely. I mean, Action does like he's a very aggressive player. He likes that aggression. He's very aggro-centric, but he is a very strong macro player. So even though he's aggressive, he likes to have a very strong economy behind that aggression. So very likely to see a more standard game here, unless Mini decides to go for something super crazy. But just going to be seeing his tried and true method of going gateway first here. Great mind game that he did last game against Shine with that Forge double scout. There's no way Shine pegged him for going for something like that, and you kind of need to have that drone waiting to block those pylons going down in the first place. And if you fail that, you have to hop over the drones to fight the probe, but it's so difficult because you need 2 hits on the probe before you can win the 1v1 with it. So Protoss always have the advantage in those situations, so it can be a bit of a nightmare for Zerg if they don't deflect that right away. And as we saw there, Shine kind of fell apart, but looks like Action not going to be having to worry about that. He's doing the more style that I like to go for, where you kind of get the pull first with an overpull, and then you get the hatchery. It's a much more safe way of playing and kind of negates all of these potential issues that you have of cannon rushes and other shenanigans.
I don't think cannon rush is super popular on this map, but we just saw one out of Mini, which I did not expect at all on Vermeer. I don't think I've ever seen a cannon rush on Vermeer before, at least in my games, and I'm similar to you. I always go for that 9 pool, overpool versus Protoss. It does negate a lot of these cheeky plays, and it really doesn't put you that far behind economically.
No, not at all. About a drone or so ahead you would be if you went for the 11 hatch, but likewise, if you did go for the 11 hatch, you'd have to make sure you didn't lose a single drone, otherwise you would have been better off going for overpull. So I much prefer this way of playing, as we see Action doing here. Going to be sending a Zergling along with this drone to expand at the 12 o'clock, making sure that there'll be a little bit of a minimized delay so that this probe can't be super annoying forever. He knows that Mini's very good with his probe control, so won't give him the time of day when it comes to giving an opportunity to place down that hatchery. So good escort from him. Zealot now trying to see if he can be a little bit sneaky, kind of waiting here down by the water, but looks like Action going to be scouting around very well with his Zerglings and going to be locating that very cheeky Zealot out in the map right now.
Yeah, finding that Zealot is half the battle. If it manages to walk its way up into your natural or hit some drones at the main, it's incredibly annoying. So he does find that. Mini's going to fall back and group up with the second Zealot. We're going to have to see about 8 to 10 Lings here in order to deal with this 1 probe and 2 Zealots. And third now on the way as well. This is becoming serious. You have to take this very seriously here as Action. Do not allow this to get on your ramp. Do not allow this to get behind your mineral patches either. He's going to bait it up here into the main. Let's see how the surround goes. He's actually right on top of the ramp. Very tough to get good surface area, but he kills the probe right off the bat. Now going to get on top of these Zealots here. Hasn't lost a single Ling so far and gets a great surround on that lower Zealot. He's going to kill that immediately, and it will force Mini behind the minerals, but he whiffs there and actually gets in front of the minerals. Gets surrounded by the Lings. Gonna run 1 more Zealot here into the main. Try to get some sort of damage done, but the Ling speed is finished. And another great surround here. Oh my god. Action on fire.
Action is really on top of his surrounds today. That's going to be a nightmare situation for Mini now. He's not going to have the kind of Zealot count that he needs to have any kind of map control going forward. It looks like Action was just sitting on 100 gas as well. He's probably deciding, do I want to throw down a lair right now or do I not? So he's probably just wants to kind of delay that lair a little bit so he can squeeze out a few drones after flooding so many Zerglings. Because he did flood a lot of Zerglings. He went up to 14 Lings very early against those initial Zealots. So he did hurt his drone count a little bit. So he's delaying his lair flare right now, and is just going to be pumping out some drones while not even mining gas for a while, just to kind of stabilize his economy. As you can see, more and more drones being squeezed out, and now a macro hatchery too. So really staying true to his style of play of having a strong economy and really focusing on that. So I like this adjustment for him as well. Not only clearing up those zealots very efficiently, but now going to be focusing purely on his economy and production.
Yeah, spreading out the lings all over the map. He's looking for this one zealot. It happens to be right here on the high ground, the mineral only behind those mineral patches in a very, very tight little location. Looks like he's just barely going to spot it with the Overlord. No, he turns it.
Oh. Wow. Oh. This zealot is 007 right now.
Okay, it's going to come out. It does get spotted there. And all the lings are going to come flooding back. So yeah, he did indeed see that. That is a big moment. If that zealot wanders in, it's going to slow down some mining time. Might even get a drone kill in a moment of duress for action if he's doing something else on the map. But now he does spot that he is going to be able to clear that out. 4 more zealots coming across the map. These are just confirmation zealots. He wants to see what actions follow-up is here. He hasn't been able to see it so far. Doesn't have the Corsair out just yet, so he wants to make sure that he's not going for some sort of quick Hydralist bust here. And here comes the lings. The speedlings are in large enough numbers they can take this fight, but I don't think they can quite win. But with the reinforcements, maybe they can finish these zealots off with some good control, though. Mini going to be pulling back the injured zealots. Great control here by Action as well, getting that surround and finishing these off. Really, really good trading there.
Yeah, phenomenal trading, they're saying. And one thing I would like to point out is until the Zealot legs are finished, Zerg can control when they engage the Zealots. So you basically just want to buy as much time as possible for more additional links to pop out of the eggs. Then you go for that surround at the last possible second before the Zealots can get up on top of your production line or get into a favorable position behind some minerals or exploiting the terrain against you. So really exceptional play from Action. Going to be getting just the right number of lings each time to efficiently deal with those Zealots, but needs to also be careful not to let any of these Overlords die, because we need to make more than one. He's got 2 Corsairs right now, I believe, so maybe getting 1 or 2 Overlord kills if Action's not careful.
Good job so far by Action. It's super frustrating to use slow Hydras with no range to try and prevent Overlord deaths here, but he manages to get underneath these. Uh-oh, another Overlord going to go down in the natural. That's going to supply block Action here, and it could cause him some pains now, but only 2 Zealots making their way into the natural, and the third doesn't get a single drone kill. Really nicely defended so far. Action going to be popping out a lot of Hydras, and this has got to be concerning for Mini right now. He doesn't have Storm, I don't think, at this moment, right?
Yet. Not quite yet. He'll have it in about 30 to 50 seconds probably at the earliest, but it's a little bit of a weird situation for Mini right now, because he should have had a lot more Zealots with that attack we just saw. There should have been a lot more Zealots putting pressure onto Action, getting some drone kills and buying time for these Zers to do a lot more damage to these Overlords, but because of how many Zealots dried up to those links in the early game, he just didn't have that potency that he needed to put the pressure on Action. So now Action kind of allowed to macro up here. A strong standing army of Hydras now starting to move out. We will be having Mini trying to shuffle around to the right-hand side of the map, see if we can put on a little bit of a counter-attack at the 12 o'clock position with these Zealots. You do need to keep these Zealots active out on the map. You don't want them just hiding behind your cannons where they're no good to anyone, so you do need to have them out on the map, causing some pressure. Storm is just about now finished, but Energy's still on the way, so I don't think he has any Storms ready for the time being, but we'll be having them momentarily to start blanketing those Hydras, while Action going to be putting pressure on the front, cleaning up some of those Zealots at the 12 o'clock. Not going to be able to get too many drone kills for his efforts so far.
Looks like Action was planning to do some sort of little bust here, but there's been enough emergency cannons thrown down from Mini, along with those Templar now popping out and gaining that energy, that he is going to decide instead to fall back. The counterattack into the third base was also a factor here, kind of taking the attention away from Action and forcing some of these Hydras to head on back home. So nice counterattacking from Mini. Action still in a good spot though, with plenty of drones. His Hydra count is looking good as well. We'll have to see what the transition is here as the Spire finishes up. Are we going to see some Mutas, or are we going to be going directly into Lurker here?
Either would be a good play. I feel like we didn't see hardly any Mutalisks. I do believe that he is getting his air upgrades for his Corsairs just in case there is a Muta switch. So Mini does have that going for him. Maybe able to survive that if there was. But losing one of those Corsairs to the Hydra, a really big pickup for action. They're going to be surging forward with a few Hydra as well. Get some High Templars snipes and is doing a great job of sniping these High Templars. Zealots are not good bodyguards. They do not protect your High Templars well. And Action's proving that by picking off so many High Templars with just a small handful of Hydras here, kind of showing you a little bit of a masterclass in how to play a standard ZVP game and get the most out of your units in the mid-game phase. Just surging forward with like 7 to 8 Hydras at a time, picking off all of the High Templars of Mini is Action. But now with so many Zealots surging into the mineral-only high ground area, he's going to have to rely on these Mutas that have just now started to come out to defend against these Zealots. So he will have to retreat a little bit to the safety of his Sim City.
Yeah, retreating to the safety of the Sim City here. Gonna turn and fight now with the Mutas overhead. This is not a good trade now for Mini. He's gonna be losing a ton of Zealots here. Putting all the Mutas together to clear out these Zealots is incredibly cost efficient. Finishing them off. Now he's going to be able to turn around and put pressure back onto Mini. Force cannons in the main, force extra defenses and Corsairs out. No Corsairs being built here right now. Mini only has 1 Corsair, so he's going to be very careful against this Muta switch. He's really not going to be able to move out on the map with any Templar here for quite a while. Otherwise, they're just going to get sniped, and his main may be under threat here as all the Mutas head over into that position. Here comes the 1 Zealot here into the 3rd. Looks like it's going to get a kill, maybe a second, but the real story here is these Mutas in the main fighting against Dragoons right now. So a full round of Dragoons pops up from Mini. That's going to help quite a bit in preventing these Mutas from taking over the main, but that doesn't really stop them from sniping the Templar on the map.
No, it doesn't. It looks like Action's game plan is to just allow Mini to take a 3rd base, but look at this. Mini's going to be having his little ninja expansion in the bottom right discovered right away by Action's Overlord. Action is all over this game. He really is on top of it so far, and these Mutas are going to be kind of pinning down the army of Mini for quite some time, baiting out storms, maybe even sniping some High Templars along the way. He also has an Overlord waiting there to maybe snipe the Observer, which can also be a great play for him. So Action's kind of got everything going for him right now, going up to 7 hatchery worth of production, and more importantly is going to be letting Mini take this 3rd base because he's going to be going to Queen's Nest and getting his own hive right now. So he's planning on going for the absolute late game situation that he's so good at doing, and we're going to be seeing a really powerful game coming out of Action here, not far behind in supply from Mini as well. So he's looking like he's in a very phenomenal position going forward soon.
Yeah, Mini wants to move out, maybe try to take a fight, but you just can't really move forward here. You don't have enough Corsairs. Mini is going to lose that 1 Corsair. He lost the Observer as well. If he tries to move out at all, these 11 Mutas just one-shot the Templar and defeat this attack. Now coming here into the main base, he's going to kill a cannon, start to push things back. He's actually going to force Mini into an all-out counterattack, but there's lurkers here, and I don't think there's an Observer with this army. The Observer was picked off, and there are Scourge here as well with an Overlord. He's looking for the Observer. There's none. You're not going to be able to push this, Mini. You're going to lose control of your main, and you're going to not be able to push here. This is catastrophic right now for our Protoss player. Coming up to this ramp, he's got nothing to do here. He's going to have to back away.
Yeah, I mean, this looks terrible for Mini. He's really been outclassed by Action. Like, every move has been completely squashed. He did a great snipe on that Observer with the Mutas before flying into the main. Beautifully executed from Action. I can't even state enough how good this guy is showing, right? How good of a game this guy is showing right now. He's basically giving us all a masterclass in ZVP, how you can just sit back and macro and still really put the hurt on the Protoss player. And someone of Mini's caliber is rather exceptional. Now going to be coming in to this mineral-only high ground, laying down big blankets of Psionic Storm, taking out quite a few of the Hydras of Action, but having to retreat because there's just a huge minefield of lurkers waiting back there, and it's just too hard for him to break into anytime soon.
Yeah, trying to break lurkers on high ground is difficult in the best case scenario. In the best situation, it's going to be hard, but in this situation with so many observers, or that observer has been killed, he's only got 1 observer here with this army, and a lot of Templars were picked off earlier. It's going to be nearly impossible to get in there and break that spot. He's going to try and take a 4th base, but his 3rd is already under threat here. The mutant number is still very high. He can still snipe. He's going to bring some Lings forward to deal with this Nexus over here on the center left. And Mini is just falling apart. An attack at the third. Going to kill this cannon and this Nexus. He's going to try one last ditch attempt to try and break this fourth base from Action. But the Templar are running forward on top of the Lurker spines, getting picked off. Some Storms get laid down. But this is way too many Lurkers. And more units going to be popping out of the eggs here to clean up this attack. Dragoon's going to have to fall back. And a big flank here from Action. This army that just took out the third base is going to completely surround all of these Dragoons. Lurkers are rushing forward here. GG as blue blood explodes onto the field. Our Protoss player taps out. Mini has been defeated, and Action will continue on to our next game. Action versus Snow will be your match number 4. Action spawning here in the top left-hand corner. Snow down here in the bottom right. This is, of course, Dark Origin, that 2-player map. Snow is going to send out this first probe. Will he go for a gateway expand, or is it going to be that forge first? Looks like a gateway here as he leaves the probe in the natural. Action, meanwhile, holding back. Is he going to throw down another 9 pool? I feel like it's a great build. Let's see if he agrees here. You can get blocked really, really easily on Dark Origin with that first probe.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go for a hatchery first on a 2-player map like this. It's just so easy to get blocked. So I kind of feel like he may not do that, but it looks like he's going to actually go for it anyway. And with the probe kind of taking the really long way around to avoid this Overlord, he won't actually block that hatchery from going down at all. So very curious here, kind of disguising this probe scout for so long. I wonder what he's got planned with this and why he's elected to do such a strange probe scout timing here against Action. I wonder, he must have something in mind.
Now, looking at this map now, I feel like it's actually not a bad map to go 11 hatch on, as long as you don't get blocked, right? Because the mineral patches are really far apart and there's a lot of space back there. So it would be super hard to get a cannon rush going on this map. So I guess I understand Action's play, but yeah, I don't understand this probe. The long path that he took to avoid the Overlord doesn't seem to make much sense to me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused about that. This Overlord also is just barely going to see that Zealot for literally a single frame. Whether or not he was paying attention to that, I'm not entirely sure, but he only saw that for just a flash of a second there, so may have even missed that Zealot going out. But he should be able to kind of decipher this so far. He was a very delayed probe scout timing, so that might kind of tip him off that it was a gateway first. Maybe the delayed probe scout was to try and telegraph that he had gone for a Nexus first or something. I don't actually know why he tried to hide that probe for so long. It was kind of interesting. But he's going to be blocking this third hatchery from going down here at the left-hand side with this first Zealot. So a little bit of a technical win for him there, delaying this hatchery going up.
Yeah, there's not really any other good location to throw down this third base, I feel. So kind of forcing Action to slow down on taking this extra base. Gonna try and get in here. Okay, he will get in and grab that hatchery, forcing the Zealot back behind the mineral patches. That's a great position to take trades with the Lings there. That's not going to allow him to block this hatchery any further. Trying to get 2 Lings to attack at the same time. It's very, very difficult. Good micro there by Snow, and preventing the probe from getting up here into the main. Good job by Action there. What is he going to do behind this? He's got 100 gas, but he hasn't decided how to use it just yet.
Yeah, this is the kind of style that he likes to do, it seems, where he kind of banks up the 100 gas and then kind of hedges his bets. Like, if I block the probe scout, maybe I can just throw down the Hydro Den and go for a 973, or maybe I don't block it and then I kind of have to throw down the lair. But he can then disguise exactly what he's doing from the Protoss player if he's able to deny the confirmation on that. So he's done a really good job here of disguising what he's going for. And I don't think that Snow's going to be able to smell this out anytime soon. He has only just now starting to build his forge. We'll be able to make a few cannons initially, but if he doesn't smell out this 973 quick enough, he may just be overrun by Action with a very well executed cheese.
The 973 is not the greatest against the gateway first, just because we've got these zealots out on the map that can come out and confirm. You're also going to have zealots to body block for the cannons, buy time for those cannons to complete, but we've only got one started here now for Snow. If he doesn't spot things in time, he could end up taking some serious damage. He'll end up getting jumped upon by these Hydras, which are now starting to pump out here. Probe's going to try to make its way back in for a scout, but I think Action completely blocks this. And yeah, he does. He forces the probe back. That zealot there in the third is considering coming out for a kill on a drone. It does come forward. Will the... Oh, yeah, the Lings are going to get behind that, and they do block it, but the probe makes its way into the natural and spots the Hydra. That is a big scout here for Snow.
That's actually a really huge mistake from Action for that Hydra being placed so far down with the Lings. He could have easily hit the Hydra from the probe there and would have still been able to snipe the probe with the Lings. So really unfortunate from Action having to show that away. But it means he probably won't be committing to a cheese here. He may just be trying to put on a little bit of pressure, maybe force a few cannons to slow down the build order of Snow. But we could also see a bit of a double bluff situation where he does fully commit to this and just try and pounce upon Snow. He has got quite a few Zerglings, and there's not a lot of Zealots right now. But one thing that we may see is Snow try and get out a DT very quickly after he defends the initial rush, if he can bully away the Overlords. But it's going to be quite some time before he can get that out. So initially, he's going to have to rely on basically pure cannons, probes, and Zealots to try and hold the initial pressure. Hydra's already in position to start hammering away on this gateway. He's going to, at the very least, lose this gateway because all the cannons are on the left-hand side protecting the forge of its upgrade.
Yeah, gonna lose this gateway. That opens up a big pathway here, not only for the Hydras to run forward and get some damage on those cannons, but also for the Zealots to come out to defend. So a bit of a double-edged sword picking off this gateway here. Can bring the Lings forward as well. Is he gonna dive on the cannon or not? It appears like he's starting to produce drones back at home. The lair is on the way here. Macro hatches coming up as well, so Action not going to commit to this play. Actually runs forward here. He's going to go for one cannon. Maybe just opening enough space at the front with the Hydra range to pick off this forge. Possibly. There we go. He's got the range on it. With that one cannon being dead, he can kill this. Will he get it in time, though? Zealot's going to come out here to defend. He kills off one Hydra. With the speed, though, he can back away. No +1 done just yet, so he may still have an opportunity to deny this. One Overlord is going to fall. That's a bit of an annoyance here for Action, but he's not getting in range of this forge. Okay, he's not going to get it, and Snow will be able to complete that upgrade. Big moment here for Snow finishing that.
Yeah, he may eventually kill the Forge, although there is now enough Zealots he could start to challenge this again. He will kill the Forge, I believe, if he keeps microing these Hydras against the Zealots, but he will not cancel this upgrade any further, I think. It should be just finishing up any moment now, so I don't think he's going to get the cancel on that, which is a bit unfortunate for him because it was a well-executed cancel, but now the Zealot legs are done, going to be body blocking, and those Hydras from ever getting back there to defend that Forge from ever being sniped. Really good play for him, but needs to be careful with these Corsairs. Has taken some hull damage on them already and kind of wants to maintain the advantage of that air superiority while there's no Spire in play, so has done a good job of picking up a couple of these Overlords around the map, but now the macro play of Actions in full swing. 6th hatchery going to be coming down for that 6th hatchery Hydra style of play, really focusing on a large count of Hydras instead of going too many Lurkers early on. So we're going to see an absolutely huge standing army for Action coming up soon with just a flood of Hydras to combat these speed Zealots.
Yeah, there's not much of a Sim City here at the third base, but he is still going to utilize that. Getting in between those hatcheries with his Hydras means the Zealots do have to turn around for now. Another force coming in here towards the natural, but will be pushed back as well. Where does Action go from here? I guess you're going to go directly into Lurker. There hasn't been any Spire thrown down just yet. Controlling the middle on this map is of utmost importance. If you can get this middle and control these bridges, Snow is going to be able to get a third base, but it'll be very hard to get a fourth.
Yeah, very much so. And I feel like Action is kind of smelling a little bit of blood right now because he's going to be diving into the natural and trying to force the Zealots to engage with his Hydras. He's already got some of the Zealots out on the map, not able to join up here. They have to kind of sandwich from behind, so he can force the Zealots to have to engage the Hydras here while he's coming in to the natural and trying to threaten these High Templars, which are positioned near the cannons. There is still 3 cannons set up to defend. But so far, Action's doing a pretty good job of shaving off the HP and the count of these Zealots. Now going to be diving into the natural and starting to go to town on these High Templars too. They have the energy, but Storm was only just now finishing up, so going to be finally throwing down that Psionic Storm onto those Hydras and starting to push this back. But there's still so many Hydras coming in. A little bit of a good Storm there, going to be blanketing so many of those Hydras and softening them up a little bit. And the Forge still hasn't gone down, just now going to be picked off by Action finally, just as one more cannon starts to be made. So it looks like right now there could be a threat of a huge bust from Action. I don't think there's enough here to defend. There's a few High Templars waiting in the wings with some Psionic Storm ready, but there's so many Zealots getting absolutely decimated by these Hydras, and only 2 cannons, one of them going to be falling in short order too. There's good surface area right now from the Zealots, but he's going to have to start pulling probes off the line to fight this again and again while waiting for more and more Psionic Storm energy. But now all his probes are going to be starting to fall. This is huge critical damage made to Snow right now. Action can finish the game here if he's careful.
Oh my god, dodging storms and getting in there. Oh, what the? 4 Zealots on the right-hand side are not being used. This is a huge mistake from Snow. Every Zealot here is so important, and the last Zealots at the front are going to get cleaned up. He finally notices them. He's going to bring them back and try to buy time for his cannons, but there's just nothing left here in the natural. Probes are being pulled forward here, but this bust, this technical bust from Action, so good here, getting in not before, just seconds before the Templar finished up their Storm upgrade. GG. Snow taps out, and Action takes him down. Gonna move forward here after finishing off both Snow and Mini, feeling great going to game number 5. Well then, Action takes out Snow in a situation I didn't really think Snow could die in, even though he had Templar and cannons in his natural. Somehow Action gets in there, down and dirty bust there from him, manages to finish off the Protoss. The second to last Protoss here, our final Protoss, is going to be Bisu spawning here in the top center. Action down in the bottom left. Neo Sylphid's going to be the map. Bisu, can he make a comeback here?
I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Bisu. Going to be wearing the Bisu to protect the Protoss, wear the shield against the swarm, as it were, while we see this gateway first coming out from him right now. He's very confident with his micro, with Zealots, Protoss, with Protoss Probes, with Protoss Corsairs, all these really A-tier units against Zerg. Going to be using those, and definitely going to be phenomenal when he uses those Psionic Storms, which is the S-tier unit against Zerg as well. So by having greater micro usage in these lower tier units like the Zealot and the Probe, it really does help you get into a better mid-game situation against Zerg, because it's so easy to be abused in the early game, and until you get all of your production up and running, you're kind of playing in a very rigid manner. So having small micro adjustments that you can make to squeeze out any value where you can with these lower tier units in the early game is really important as Protoss.
Absolutely. And Bisu, a lot of weight on his shoulders here, with 3 Zerg players remaining. The hopes of the Protoss race are heaped upon him, but he has the potential right now for an all kill. That does need to be mentioned. 3 Zerg players remain. That means if Bisu manages to take out all 3 in a row, he will get an extra 600,000 won as a prize. So his motivation could not be higher here. A bunch of Lings are crossing the map. Actually going to put the pressure onto Bisu's gateway first right off the bat. This is going to be hard to hold.
Yeah, he's kind of meted Bisu a little bit here. He just immediately went for the 6 Lings as soon as the pull was finished to put the pressure right onto Bisu and force these initial Zealots to be a lot more passive. Going to be also forcing the Forge to come out a lot sooner than maybe Bisu would have liked to have made it. So instead wants to be the one setting the pace of the game right from the get-go. Going to be trying to get a little bit of hits on this probe. Beautiful micro from Bisu, though, not going to be taking too many hits on that probe. Buys enough time on that probe to kill some of those Zerglings, but the 3 Lings are still alive, and 2 do make it into the main base. A little bit of a miss micro there from Action, a little bit indecisive, kind of wanting to run back out with the Lings and getting a few free hits from that Zealot. I think he just maybe messed up with his hotkeys there while trying to send the other Ling back. So unfortunately for him there, lost a little bit of HP on those Zerglings, but still will be annoying to bisu here in the main base with these.
An absolutely jaw-dropping moment there with bisu microing that probe back and forth, getting hits as well as blocking the Lings over and over again from getting into the main. That was an immaculate hold. Does allow a couple of Lings here into the main, but that's completely fine. He's got Zealots across the map. He's forcing more Lings out of action. Another Ling gonna make its way here into the main. Oh my god, a lot more Lings are coming here. bisu, he's not gonna see this with the first Zealot, but he sees it with the probe. Amazing scout here for bisu. I don't know what you do from this point. Maybe even canceling the Nexus might be a good idea just to throw down more buildings, because he has to hold on against this.
Yeah, he has to definitely hold on against this. One thing he can do, if the gateway is targeted down, he can make a forge behind it once it blows up to try and rebuild the wall before the Lings can block the building from going down. He does still have these 3 Lings in the main base, does action, so he is going to be causing a little bit of a thorn in bisu's side and force him to have to multitask. But likewise, Action's having to multitask himself, not only controlling those Zerglings in the main base, trying to snipe off probes. Beautiful drill there from bisu, going to be blocking those Lings and getting a little bit of damage done onto them to start clearing them up. There is one on very low HP, but this Zealot in the natural of Action going to be very annoying and keeping some Lings pinned down to have to deal with that, and also force him to spend a little bit of his actions in focusing on the mini-map to make sure he doesn't lose those drones at any given time. So both players kind of being stretched their limits right now as they're having to multitask and switch between both defending and macroing and doing their build order at the same time. Very high pressure situation for both sides.
This is what makes the Zerg versus Protoss matchup so incredibly difficult, is the amount of multitasking that can be forced for both players, especially in a situation like this with the Lings in the main. Ooh, a drone gets lost there. See, this is just the taxing. Oh, and these 2 Zealots run up the ramp as well without getting surrounded. Action missing a couple of things here, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So many things are going on the map. Everything has to be watched. Another drone goes down. Oh man, a little bit of a misprioritization here from Action. Good switching back and forth with these Lings, but I think the Zealots are still going to stay alive. Oh man, such low HP, and they do end up living there. Looks like the Lings in the main base have actually gone down. And another drone falls here at the 3rd. bisu just tearing Action apart here in the early game.
Yeah, this is just a big callback to what I was saying earlier about just being able to micro these A-tier units just a little bit better than the other Protoss players. Really does start to tax the Zerg player and really force them out of their element. And as we can see, it looks like bisu is the superior player when it comes to this fast task switching style of play and going back and forth between doing multi-threader things at the same time. Action was very good at keeping up with him for the time being, but eventually bisu just managed to start finding little holes in his attention span and started to crack through at multiple locations, killing drones both at the natural and the 3rd base location, and beautiful micro against the Zerglings, which then led to a follow-up drone kill as well. So bisu's kind of like really in his stride right now, double the supply of Action now moving across the map with 5 Zealots, and it's actually enough Zealots here for these Lings not to be able to surround just for the time being. They have to group up with a few more Zerglings here to be able to do a good pincer attack on these Zealots and try and prevent them from getting up into the 3rd base location to get more and more of those drone kills. So good job from Action, not going to be allowing these Zealots to get that done, I don't think, although he is getting into the base now with just one of those Zealots, so maybe losing one of the drones, but I don't think he'll allow that to happen at least.
A very important scout here for bisu getting into the 3rd base with that Zealot. He sees the 2nd gas being hidden at that 3rd location, so definitely a muta switch coming here from Action. He's going to start to throw down cannons in the main to make sure that he doesn't just straight up die to this, but 4 mutas can deal a lot of damage. Okay, the cannons are going to finish just barely in time. We've got 3 Corsairs here. This will not end up killing bisu, at least not right away.
Yeah, five mutas are able to fight 2 Corsairs and beat them, but once you get 3 Corsairs, you can start fighting those mutas. So bisu are going to be warding those away for the time being until some Scourge can be made to support this. We do see 2 Scourge here, ready to go in and start zoning out those Corsairs from the main base, so he can start to lay siege to the main base with those mutalisks. But we see this Zealot coming down into the 3rd base location. There's nothing here to defend this. That's going to hiccup the gas income of Action, but he's diving into the natural base with the forces of the Lings and the mutas, trying to hammer down these cannons. He's desperately just trying to focus these cannons to break open the natural expansion, but there's so many Corsairs that the Mutalisk will at least be taken out, but he has managed to kill all of these cannons in the natural, so if he was somehow able to produce enough ground army, maybe he could finish off Bisu, but I don't think he has a lot coming in for the rally point right now, so I'm not sure that was a good play from Action here. I think Bisu's starting to run ahead with this game, making more and more Corsairs with the weapons attack on the way as well.
Yeah, and the second Stargate finishes up as well, so gonna go for this play. 2 Stargate trying to pump out 1 more Corsair. Oh, the Scourge not able to connect, and we saw a lot of bugging of the Scourge earlier in that attack. They really should have connected and killed off those Corsairs a little bit quicker, but now gonna get that surround. GG. Not good enough here. Action loses all of his mutas and taps out. Man, Scourge are so dumb. Can't believe they weren't gonna connect there on those Corsairs while the mutas were killing the cannons. It's a full commitment though from Action, and without those connections, he's not able to kill them in time. He loses all of his mutas. Ugh, rough.
Yeah, it's really rough saying. It's a bit unfortunate. Scourge basically have like a range of 0, and they're extremely dumb units, so unless you're microing them flawlessly, they don't tend to do exactly what you want them to, and unfortunately, that was the case there as well. Did start to reduce that Corsair count a little bit, but with the 2 Stargate production and the gas hiccup at the 3rd base, there's just no way that he can produce enough units to finish off Bisu there in the long run, even though it looked like he still had some units left over, so really great execution from Bisu.
Ooh, cross map position here on Nemesis. Bisu spawning in the top left, soulkey in the bottom right. 1 of 2 remaining Zerg players. This is going to be a spicy one, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what are your predictions? Because going into this, I kind of had this pegged as like a little bit of a Zerg favored game. I pegged them around about 55%. In terms of their chances of winning. My own bias was telling me to go as much as 60%, but I was trying to be a bit more reserved with the 55. And looking at it right now, I still feel confident with that assessment, but it does look like Bisu is the kind of caliber of player that could do an all-kill here, and there is still a revive in the pocket of the Protoss players as well to bring Bisu back from the dead to strike again. So this could be a rather epic series here coming forward, and Bisu could be the man to be the Protoss shield carrying the torch going forward into the finals.
Well, I wouldn't put it by either of these 2 remaining Zerg players, Soma or soulkey, to take down Bisu twice. I think it's completely possible, but it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. Bisu on fire, not only in this week of KCM, but also in week number 8, carrying his team, putting them in his backpack, crossing the finish line for the first time this season. Will this be the second win here for Protoss this season? It's kind of crazy to think about, but that's kind of where we're at this point.
Yeah, I kind of had I had a little bit of a sneaking suspicion that we'd be seeing a late revival of play from the Protoss. We had that big long flat line, and right before the semi-finals, they kind of just like pounced onto the board. So yeah, kind of feels like they're ready to take it, and they weren't too concerned about those lack of wins initially. How do you feel about PVZ on this map, Nemesis here? So.
Oh, I have mixed feelings about this map. Definitely not my favorite to play on, but we've had so many good PVZs and ZVTs on here that I've kind of fallen in love with it, to be honest. There's been so many crazy plays and so many long games where we've had both the players mine out half the map and still get like really close to exchanging mains, exchanging bases, and then kind of refugee Protoss, refugee Zerg around the map. It's been crazy. I'm not expecting that this game, but definitely that's a possibility. It's like getting on top of these early lings here as they're popping out. Oh, that drone! Oh, he just barely managed to keep that alive, and then a second drone gonna be pulled away as well. Bisu, frustrated here in his first attack, is gonna get surrounded by these lings, it looks like, and picked off Wow, soulkey with the immaculate control in the early game, able to not only get rid of that zealot, but also retain all his drones.
Yeah, soulkey just did an absolutely phenomenal job there, saying of keeping those drones alive. They were so close to dying both times and pulled them away just in the nick of time. So really exceptional early game defense. Going to be frustrating the early aggression of Bisu, and also sniping off that zealot's going to be a big win for soulkey going forward as well. Going to be able to have a lot more map control with his lings and not need to produce as many to defend the further attacks that Bisu will be making in the coming stages of the game. So far looking pretty good is soulkey here on Nemesis, and I kind of agree with you about the map, saying it's definitely one I prefer watching them playing. We've had some absolutely epic games on this map. I think it's maybe a little bit of a technical map to play. You have to kind of figure it out of how to abuse it to get the most out of it. But these like ASL tier players, like they really do seem to have figured it out and how to give us some really epic games to enjoy.
Yeah, one thing to mention about this map is you can create some island bases around the sides here. The 3 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock are all potential islands if you pick off the assimilators. And that means that turtley play from the Zerg is going to be insanely powerful. Once you turtle up the natural locations in either the bottom left or the bottom right here as soulkey, there's only 2 locations that the Protoss can attack into. And there's plenty of options for Zerg to attack around the map, going for muta switches, going for drop play and the like. Can be very, very hard to deal with. So I'm split, man. I don't know if this is a Protoss favored map or a Zerg favored map. It feels pretty balanced overall.
Yeah, it feels pretty balanced for me too. I almost feel like there's certain phases of the game it maybe favors one over the other. I'm a little bit undecided on how I feel about it overall. I think it might be fairly balanced still. It might be slightly favored towards Zerg or Protoss one way or the other, but so far we've seen some interesting games on it, and it's looking like we're going to be having quite a late game situation here, because I don't think that Bisu's going to be able to get much damage done for the time being.
All right, Lings are going to threaten the front here. There's only 1 cannon, so potential run by here for soulkey. It means that Bisu has to be a little bit careful, keep his zealots at home for now. He's not going to make the same mistake as Mini in previous games. He's going to make sure that he's got speed and +1 before he moves out here. Not going to lose those zealots to a bad trade against Lings. There's the Spire, which is already finished. That means that the Corsair cannot get a kill on any of these Overlords. Will have to retreat immediately, as there will definitely be some Scourge in the eggs coming out here shortly. Bisu going to find this one Overlord. Maybe he can pick this one off with 2 Corsairs before losing anything to the Scourge. Here comes the Scourge, though. It's dangerous. You do not want to be losing one of these first 2 Corsairs. Oh boy, he does save the Overlord. Overlord not going to go down. Corsair going to go around here and actually pick off the Overlord from behind. That's still another potential target for the Scourge, though. Going to run off into the top corner, and looks like he does barely manage to escape with that Corsair. Nicely done here by Bisu.
Yeah, a little ring around the rosy there, saying going to be not only avoiding those Scourge, but getting the confirmed kill on that Overlord. Nice little pickup from Bisu there, showing us why he's one of the best in the business at doing what he does with these Corsair openings that used to be basically what he created. The Forge fast expand into Corsair was basically his creation, and the modern meta way back in that day of how to deal with Zerg, the free hatch Spire that we saw so commonly. So Bisu was the guy that kind of figured out this matchup long ago and is showing his caliber still to this day. So really exciting stuff. Both players playing at a very high level of play on this map Nemesis. We do have mute discs out, but there's so many Corsairs already out. Needs to be a little bit careful though. There's not enough Corsairs to one-shot. There's only 5. I'm not sure if they have +1. Okay, they do have +1, so they can, with perfect connections, can start to one-shot those Scourge, but ideally you want to wait for 6 to make sure there's no issues of not all of the Corsairs shooting at the same time and popping those Scourge immediately. So we'll be wanting to get one more Corsair out before he starts challenging these mutas, so that's why he's just having to sacrifice some of the HP on those Zealots and running them back right now.
Single Zealot there, going to be sacrificed for some information in the natural. Plenty more hatches coming up here. He's gonna probably open up the eggs at the third base in order to get some good circulation going out into the map for now. That doesn't mean that he's not gonna pick that off later on, though. Mutas are, by pick that off, I mean the assimilators over there by the third base. Archon here is out. That is a huge threat to this Mutalist clump. Couple of splash hits from that Archon is going to kill the entire group of Mutas, so he's got to be careful here. It's nearly time for the Hydralisk transition with more and more Corsairs coming up here and a DT coming out as well. You're not going to be able to rely on Mutas any further. There we go, killing off the egg, but it's not going to be in time to join up with this fight. The Zealots and Archon's going to start to threaten the front here. Mutas are actually going in for a counterattack. Let's see how many probe kills he can get.
Yeah, the Scourge are in position to intercept the Corsairs as well. Some of them do connect, but they actually don't connect too well to kill enough of the Corsairs. There's 2 Corsairs that did get down into hull HP, but they were not taken out, so not many of the Corsairs went down there at all. So still with a sizable Corsair count. Did lose a few of those probes. Soulkey trailing in supply by just a couple, so 104 supply for bisu, 101 supply for Soulkey. That looks very good for a Zerg right now. This map kind of makes me feel like it's slightly Zerg favored in that there's not that many locations to defend. The one thing I think is an issue is defending this 6 o'clock base if you can't reinforce it easily, so he did have to take out the eggs to be able to get into this island. So now it is a semi-island base, but with these DTs coming down, they will be intercepted by these Hydras. Right now we have quite a crazy amount of Hydras being made at both locations, so he's going to be playing purely defensive while these Mutas go in to snipe High Templars, force out another Archon. So there will not be many Storms available for bisu, but he has more or less killed all of these Mutas with these Corsairs.
bisu identifying the power of the DT on this map, the ability to crush through those those eggs and break into these semi-island bases is a huge advantage for the Protoss. Gets down there, does not get any kills on those, but here comes a huge range of Hydra. Oh my god, the storm! Oh, the storm on all those Hydras. Oh, this is making this attack look silly, but there's still enough Hydras to kill these 2 Archons and push through the Zealots. So actually, Soulkey gonna push all of this back. Corsairs are going down in the third base, trying to get some Overlord kills, but being picked off. Not enough to push through here into the natural, but that was a good reset on the number of Templar here for bisu.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy that he lost that many Hydras, but still had enough to set up a contain here. So crazy macro from Soulkey, showing us why he's such a stellar player, able to produce such a phenomenal, crazy amount of units. I don't know how this guy does it. I don't know how he produces this many units of this many hatcheries. He's ahead of supply in the Protoss player right now. It's absolutely exemplary play from Soulkey right now, really showing us stellar stuff. Now with the Lurkers moving up into this tight chokehold, going to be setting a really far forward Lurker contain as well. It's a really tight bottleneck for bisu to have to push out through here. It's going to be a tough one for him.
Yeah, he's going to pick off that cannon, and with the cannon going down, oh my god, is he going to try and kill the second cannon? He's still going to push forward here. Oh my god, Lurkers coming up to reinforce. There's no storm right now. There's just not enough energy, and Soulkey knows it. He's going to come up here and kill this cannon, and is he actually going to get more of these Templar here? No, the Templar are going to stay alive, at least for now, but there's no cannons left over. Only 3 Zealots here, and he gets another Templar. One more Templar is going to go down as well. There's just 1 Templar left over, and the Lurkers are pushing forward. GG! Wow! Crazy!
Soulkey is a god, man.
Wild. What a game there. Soulkey breaking through. Again, actually, Action took out Snow in a kind of a similar fashion there, right? Diving in after the Templar finished their upgrade. They had the Storm, but they just weren't quite able to get good enough storms there to slow that down and prevent the cannons from going down. Man, that's just nuts, man. We didn't even get to see a late game. We didn't get to see the things we talked about with the map come to pass, but That was a wild game nonetheless. Now, all 4 players have been eliminated on the Protoss squad. We're going to have a revive here. Who are they going to bring back? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's going to be Bisu, but honestly, after that performance, he looked a little bit shaky. And he had such great storms, and he still couldn't halt that push. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, he did get a little bit outplayed there, being forced to make Archons by the Muto harass, even though he had air superiority. It didn't really go the way he thought it would. And with that kind of performance, maybe they will consider another player. But I still have a hunch it's going to be Bisu regardless.
Yeah, I don't know. Best might be a good choice here too, or Mini. It's really hard to say. I feel like because Bisu is such a legend, they're probably gonna take his word for it here. Whether he thinks that he can take on soulkey in a rematch or not, that's gonna be the decision. Looks like in the dugout here, the Protoss have already decided who's gonna be playing. I'm gonna find out who gets the revive here, coming right up. Wow, I am shocked that the Protoss lineup is going to be sending out Snow as their revive choice here against soulkey. That is surprising to say the least. I feel like if this was Terran versus Protoss semifinal, this would make sense, but Snow going to be sent out here. Maybe he's got some sort of read on what soulkey's doing in these games. Maybe he feels like on Heartbreak Ridge he stands a good chance of taking him down.
Yeah, I was more or less thinking the same thing. It's definitely an astute observation. He maybe has a very good tell on the style that soulkey likes to do, and on a map like Heartbreak Ridge, it's a little bit unorthodox. You can still go, of course, for that sort of mass Hydra style, but it's a little bit different kettle of fish on a map like this. So maybe Snow's going to be able to confidently take on soulkey here, and he's going to be going for that forge fast expand, which I think I like here. We do see the pull first coming out from soulkey as well, and it would be interesting to see if he tries to block this hatchery in the natural with this probe, because with some micro, he'll be able to delay this for a little bit of time, but the things will eventually come in and deal with this probe.
Weird. soulkey is going to send this first drone across the map. He doesn't even go for the scout. Instead, sending it up into that back natural area is going to go ahead and start to mine out that mineral patch. Takes quite a while to do so, but you're just not going to be expecting it to happen this early. So Snow's got nothing over at that location. He's not going to be able to stop that from going down. What kind of game plan is coming here for soulkey?
It could just be a Ling run by. It very much could just be a Ling run by into the main base, and that might be enough to cause a critical damage to Snow. He'll maybe have to evacuate his main base, or at the very least will have to fight the Lings and then lose probes in the process. But if he evacuates, he could still lose the Nexus. So yeah, this could be a very strong Ling run by into the main base. It's possible he may send a probe down to check this at some point, but because he started mining out so early, like you said, he might not be able to scout it in time to deny it. Oh, look at the probe going up right now from Snow. Great tell, great read on him, being able to pick up on this. Knows that there's a possibility of some kind of shenanigans, and there is going to be a possibility of shenanigans, so great from him, going to be able to get on top of this and start seeing it right away.
Yeah, he's not actually able to hit the drone with the probe over the mineral patch, but he sees it. That's a half the battle right now, but look at it's already done. Like, Snow has no idea that it was going to be done so quickly. Just seeing that drone there doesn't really tell you how many patches are left. So he's going to lose the probe here on the high ground, and the Lings are just going to run by into the main. Here we go. Nothing here except for this one probe. It's just going to focus down the probe. Oh, second probe. Just blocking here is a big win for Snow, but 3 Lings are going to make their way in. Zealot does pop out, but these are pretty low Lings now. And it's going to take a lot of multitasking for soulkey to keep this pressure on, keep these Lings alive here in the main.
Yeah, it's still definitely annoying, especially as it's a forge fast expand. There is only going to be one setup for some time to deal with this, so the Lings can keep running around and sniping off one probe here and there if he's not on top of things. But nice play from Snow, going to be killing one of those Zerglings that was low HP with the particle beam off the probe. But now soulkey can be rotating around to the north side of those mineral fields, and but just pulling probes off the line like this and just disrupting the mining of the Protoss is a good enough damage here for soulkey, as long as he has the task switching that he needs to be able to macro back at home, which he definitely does. And his evolution evolution chamber. Okay, we might be seeing a very, very crazy mass Ling build here from soulkey, getting a very early carapace upgrade on his Lings to counter the +1 weapons timing of Snow and kind of just counter him with a big flood of Zerglings. Now that this back mineral has been opened up, you can't really rely on this wall anymore, so you can keep getting into the back of the Snow's base with these Lings, and if he has carapace upgrade on these Lings as well, the +1 weapons will not matter, and they will still need 3 shots from the Zealots to kill, and 2 Lings in the main base still going to town on these probes, so another probe does go down.
Picking off probes here is amazing. Oh, a block. Cool play here from Snow. If you seize this block, he could run around and go back to the front, try to run by and kill that cannon. But for now, oh, he's going to go for the probe. He's just going to run by. Oh, go after the cannon. No, he's going to run into the main. Nice blocking there, stopping 3 Lings from getting by at least. But this is so many Lings in the main now, and they have that speed. They're going to be having upgrades soon too. It's so funny to see him going for an evolution chamber here, but it makes sense. You're going to be going for a spore to protect against the Corsair coming across the map. He's not going to lose any overlords. Actually, these 2 overlords in the middle have not made it back to the spore just yet, but maybe they still manage to make it home here in time, depending on where the Corsair heads initially. 1 cannon going to go up in the main. This is a great choice by Snow. The SimCity here is fantastic as well. He will push away these Lings for now.
Yeah, it's really interesting play. I really like the use of the Evo Chamber to just not even need a Spire or a Den for now. Just going to be using that Spore to defend for the time being and allowing himself to maybe go for an upgrade advantage while also macroing up back at home. Really interesting tech choice from soulkey, using this opened up mineral at the back to kind of exploit the situation, and also going to be picking off that Zealot in the main base. So reducing the Zealot count over and over again. Has another 4 Lings waiting for another potential run by into the main base, although these ones will probably not be able to get into the main without too much damage done, as there is a lot of cannons and Zealots now to prevent them from getting much done. So those 4 Lings probably going to be unsuccessful in getting anything done, but will be able to at least maybe be harass and deny a probe scout from coming down this southern threshold for the time being.
Layer on the way here for soulkey, so he does have a powerful follow-up to this kind of crazy early game build. We've got a Hydra stand. No Hydras just yet, but going up to 5-hatch Hydra from here, he's going to have that upgrade advantage very, very soon. Hasn't taken any Overlord damage from the Corsair as well. Nice pick off on the probe. Just getting rid of that unit here, getting rid of that ability to scout for Snow. 5 of these Zealots are now crossing the map. We don't have that upgrade finished just yet, but it should be finishing up here shortly. Snow gonna turn around with his Zealots and head on back home.
Yeah, he will not be able to get a lot done for the time being, so it looks like soulkey's kind of metagamed Snow a little bit in this game, though Snow will be able to put on a bit of an assault soon once he starts getting a higher count of Zealots and their legs come online soon. There's that carapace upgrade. It does take quite a long time to research, but that's what I was talking about earlier. It's such an interesting meta play from soulkey to go for this +1 carapace really early. I wonder if Snow will even just avoid going weapons altogether and instead just go straight into armor. Might be a good choice for Snow here.
I'm not sure if he saw the evolution chamber in time to make that switch. A bunch of gateways are now going down here in the main base. Maybe going for double forge here would be a good idea. Just don't want to fall behind in the upgrades for Snow. Coming out now against these Lings. Can still 3-hit the Lings. It doesn't prevent you or force you to 4-hit them or something like that with the extra +1. It just mitigates the +1 of the Zealots, not allowing them to 2-shot once that +1 finishes.
Yeah, Snow going to be ramping up into like 8 gateway worth of production, which is more or less what you want to do on 2 bases. You either take your 3rd base really early with just 5 gateways, or you go all the way up into 8 gateways. That's what you need to be able to attack the Zerg and also take the expansion up into the mid-game phase. So Snow has all the production that he needs going forward. Templar Tech is online. 9 minutes into the game, he should have Storm just about finishing up now or in a few moments. So we'll be able to start putting the pressure onto soulkey. But meanwhile, soulkey's been macroing up really heavily back at home. So currently at 76 supply to 86. So looking pretty healthy is soulkey going forward. 4 Templars popping out at the same time. So we'll be having quite a few Storms going forward, but will be a little bit of time before he's able to put the pressure on.
GTs are out here on the map, cleaning up a few of these Zerglings. Zerglings sharking around here. They're looking for kills on potential Templar, on potential Zealots that might be popping out. Here's a Templar! Oh! Damn.
Wow. That's a
Look
big
at that
mistake.
caster skill. Called it, buddy. I just called it. There we go. A great job by soulkey here. And he's going to come forward. Try and possibly break the wall of snow here at the front. He's got only 2 cannons. This is a very scary attack here. There should be enough for about 3 to 4 storms. He's got to throw them down perfectly, though, in order to prevent this from breaking his front. Gonna go to work on this wall. We've seen what soulkey can do with an attack like this. Very, very dangerous stuff from him. Snow gonna pull out a bunch of Zealots for the flank. Here we go. Zealots coming in for the flank. Zealots coming in from the front. Where are the Templar? They are not moving out here right now, just relying completely on these Zealots to do the job.
Yeah, right now there is 1/1 upgrades for the Zerg as well, +1 missile attack and carapace. So these Lings are a little bit tankier than usual. The Hydra's a little bit tankier than usual, but he still has to really respect this huge Zealot count. Currently, the 2 forces Zealots split up on 2 flanks of the map. He's going to maybe try and fight the weaker flank of Hydra's first, so he probably should pull back these Zealots on the southern threshold while also advancing up the north, which it looks like he's going to be doing so. Some Lurkers being morphed in on these ridge lines to try and hold these positions, but looks like Snow is rightfully taking this mantle in the northern part of the map to try and put on some pressure. There is a good Sim City set up there, so he will have to retreat from that position before he gets flanked from behind from the rally point of the top right 3rd base. So he's doing a pretty good job of getting surface area on these Hydras and doing some damage to them, but it looks like also with the macro of soulkey being so strong, he's able to also put on some pressure at this 3rd base location of Snow and delay this from going up critically, and has these Lurkers moving in to this ridge line to set up a contain. So if soulkey can set up this contain now, it's going to be huge for him.
Yeah, setting up a contain here is so deadly. This is very, very hard location to push out of. Great storms on these Lurkers and Hydras, though. He's going after the Forge. Killing the Forge. It is huge here. He prevents the upgrade. +1 armor has been stopped, it looks like. The 2nd Forge is available in the main base, but that is massive. We've got soulkey already on +1/+1. He should be getting another couple of upgrades coming up here soon as well, so the upgrade advantage is only going to grow from here.
Yeah, soulkey's setting himself up into a rather exemplary position. Denying this 3rd base from going up for as long as he has is already a big win for him, and the fact that he already has a good enough game state that he can maintain and try and contain these 2 positions, it looks like he will be able to force a good fight from Snow. But there is a lot of Dragoons coming out from Snow, which is exactly what he needs to start getting on top of this large Hydra count. If he can somehow get a critical mass of Dragoons, he will be able to bust out of this position. But right now it's looking a little bit untenable for him. He hasn't got this 3rd base online. It's nearly 13 minutes into the game. He's got about another 4 to 6 minutes before he's completely mined out in his main and natural, so it's going to be really hard for him to do something about it. And now 2 Lurkers going to be trying to get into position to snipe some of these probes, denying some of the mining in this natural and killing a few of the probes as well. Really great play from soulkey, doing whatever damage he can do with this opened up expansion area that he mined out in the very start of the game, getting any advantage that he can find.
soulkey now grabbing his 4th base. He's actually busting ahead in supply for a moment. Now Snow catching back up and getting ahead a little bit, but that's just the game state we're at right now, with soulkey able to produce huge waves of Hydras coming across the map here, fighting on this high ground, forcing back the Zealots. Oh my god, the storm is fantastic, but is it going to be enough here? We've got Lurkers over the high ground here in the back. If he targets probes, he could get so many probes here. Looks like Dragoon's going to target down that Lurker, prevent that probe damage at least, but he's far from getting his 3rd base right now. He's just dealing with a bunch of fires, putting out fires all over the map here. Gonna try and come down and crush this Hydra Force. If he can crush this efficiently here, he might still stand a chance. There we go, getting some good storms here, picking off a lot of these units and forcing everything back, but a flank coming in from the north, gonna be surrounding this army. Oh my god, a bunch of Lurkers here. Some of them getting picked off, some of the Hydras getting picked off, but these Zealots are going to die, and now Snow being forced back on multiple fronts. I don't think he's going to be able to take a 3rd base here. There we go. Actually, he's starting to try and take it. Can he hold it, though?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough hold for him. He did bleed off a lot of his army just now, but he was rightfully trying to skirmish with the Zerg, trying to do what he could with his Psionic Storms, reduce the army of the Zerg, and then maybe hope to double expand after the fact. If he wasn't able to take his third right now, the only way he'd have a chance at winning would be a double expand. It's still this Lurker in the bottom left, being a thorn in his side, having to come down and clean that up, and buying some time for the Lurkers now to come and contain this area in the 6 o'clock yet again. So just being a little bit annoying with like a single Lurker and Overlord in the bottom left has now given him a big, huge positional play in the bottom of the map, containing this army in the third base location, now denying him from setting up his fourth. He's finally got this third starting to go up, but now he's going to have the challenge of getting his fourth, and soulkey going to be putting the pressure on, shuffling his Lurkers more and more forward. There's not yet any High Templars down here, now coming slowly from the rally points, 2 High Templars. There's one storm each, and all these Hydras are clumped, so some beautiful storms coming out. He can start to deal with this. Needs to be a little bit careful, does soulkey, not to bleed off too many of these units, but he has a good positional play here to really disrupt this third base from going up and whittling down the Protoss army over and over again. Not too far behind in supply is soulkey, going to be rallying down more and more Hydras with these Lurkers to start breaking up his position. Looks like he will be able to break it as well. There's just not enough storm here. There's one High Templar coming down. One beautiful storm does blanket these Hydras and take out about just under half of them, so is starting to crack open his position. If soulkey could just rally down a few more units, maybe he'd get the kill on this, but it looks like Snow might be able to just barely stabilize if he can get these rallied units to intercept these incoming Hydras, but there's no storm left on that High Templar, so these Hydras actually might be able to come down here and help these Lurkers overrun this position, even though the Observer and Zealots did come in to try and counter.
Yeah, just 2 more Lurkers left over, but it looks like he is going to clear that out. More Hydras making their way down here. Snow making some vital errors with his casting of the Storm. Double casting Storm in a critical moment there, and also, oh god, oh, this is so many probes. Okay, he does get the Lurker at least, but more and more Hydras are coming down here. +1, +2 is done. GG. Oh man.
Wow.
Snow taps out. soulkey is victorious, and that's going to be a Zerg victory.
Beautiful play from soulkey there. I mean, Snow did seem to have like a good idea of what he needed to do, but the execution just wasn't there. He just got outplayed by soulkey, and just using a handful of units, one Lurker here and there, just distracting Snow enough time to just conquer so much territory and get himself into a commanding position yet again, and setting himself up for further assaults onto that third base location. Absolutely exemplary play from soulkey in this game, showing us why Zerg can more or less be the best race.
Great showing here from the Zerg lineup. Soma sitting in the background, not even having to play a game, just taking home that prize money for free and getting himself seated along with his team into the final. All right, and with that, semifinals is over. Your lineup for the Season 2 finals of 2023, Terran versus Zerg, that's coming up very soon. I'm just still a little bit shell-shocked about how quick that series was and how many crazy aggressive games we had.
Yeah, honestly, I am kind of speechless too. I have a feeling that a lot of the Zerg players are starting to figure out that they need to be a little bit more aggressive, even if they are going for these macho-centric styles. And putting on a lot of pressure on your opponent does simplify the game state. If you're able to control the state of the game by putting on that pressure and forcing your opponent to play reactive like that, I feel is a strong indicator that we are going to be seeing a little bit of a meta shift in these players coming forward and not really allowing the same kind of corner cutting that we have been seeing in the modern meta.
Yeah, I think this is the more aggressive style from Zerg. I feel like it's got to catch on, right? If it's viable to break Protoss players like this in the early game, you know, right as Storm is coming out, I would never imagine that would be a possibility in my own games. You know, getting out a huge wave of Hydras at about 10 minutes and trying to break through is I mean, I guess it's going to catch on, right? And maybe even into ASL, we'll see more and more Zerg players going for aggressive plays like that.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see a resurgence of it. I mean, these players have the mechanics and macro required to pull off this kind of strategy and style, because a player of, say, your or my caliber, we don't necessarily have the macro cycles required to always pump out those huge swarms of units that are required, that once they do start psionic storming you, you then don't have any units to follow up the attack. But someone of, say, soulkeys or somas or anyone else's caliber, they have the huge macro behind it, that even if you do get these great storms like we saw bisu storming that huge army of soulkey coming up from the cross map position on Nemesis. It didn't matter that he blanketed so many of those Hydras, killed so many Hydras with those storms. It didn't matter at all. He had so many in the waiting in the wings, rallying across the map, that he was able to still swarm him and overrun him in the end.
And that build from soulkey was looking so powerful on that map as well. Going for the early evolution chamber, that was sort of popular like a few years ago, I think. Maybe 2-3 years ago. People were going for that, going for the early spore to counter the Corsairs, but it seemed like it was getting countered very, very hard by Protoss players, adding on a bunch of extra Corsair and just ignoring the spore, killing all the overlords and making things really tough for the Zerg. But Snow not able to make that adjustment in that game. He had a few kind of goods. He had a few good storms. He had a few great storms, and he had a few kind of whiffs there as well. Usually, it's really hard, by the way, on Heartbreak Ridge to break the third base there of the Protoss once they've got the cannons finished and everything, because that area is so tight. It's just really, really hard to get through there without eating just insane amounts of storm damage. So the fact that he was able to break through there with just Lurker and Hydra is pretty impressive, and it just goes to show, like, you cannot make a mistake against any of these Zerg players. One whiff storm could be make or break.
Oh, absolutely. And usually it's on the onus is on the Zerg. Like, if you miss your macro cycles, you just get run over. But these guys don't miss their macro cycles, you know what I mean? So they don't have to worry about that. It's more down to the Protoss. Can you hold off these huge swarms of Hydras with your storm? If you can't, then you're in trouble, son. And that's exactly what we saw there. I'm kind of excited. I really did want Zerg to win the semifinals. I feel like TVZ would be rather epic to see. There's such a deep lineup from the Zerg, and the Terran talent pool is rather exceptional as well, I would say. I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic finals. I'm glad as well that we didn't see Protoss steal away a Zerg victory here, because they have been dominating so hard over Protoss throughout the season, but that's the way this tournament is. If Protoss managed to take them down, they would have been going to a Protoss versus Terran finals. I'm just glad that didn't happen.
I'm really excited to see the likes of Light, Royal. They just have such good games against Zerg. They're fantastic in the TVZ matchup as well, and the likes of Soma, soulkey, and there's so many. Do you think Jaedong's going to come out in the finals, or do you think that maybe Jaedong might be a little bit on the sidelines after a slightly lackluster performance in recent games?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I would, of course, love to see some Jaedong games. I think he's been improving overall since coming back from the military. It's been a kind of a slow slog of improving, a slow resurgence here from Jaedong, but he is getting more and more powerful over time. If he does come out, I'm not going to complain about it at all. There's so many other good Zerg players, though. Here, Action, Soma, soulkey. Who else do we have in the talent pool? We've got Queen, of course. There's just so many different players that could come out next week.
And Shine, also a very cheesy player that could be utilized. We'll have a big bag of like 50 different cheeses he could choose from if they do decide to bring out Shine in the finals. Although there are so many good players on that deep lineup that maybe Shine will not get a spot this time around. Maybe bringing him out in the semifinals is a little bit of a consolation prize for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Shine getting the job done this week. Will he be brought out next week? We're going to have to find out. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we did. And make sure to check out all the links in the description before you go. Leave this video a like as well. I definitely appreciate it. See you guys in the next week.
No man wegen now schon auf sie stehe ich geskello seit mir vor sie nicht was nur auf sich alle auf seine nach auf sieht ja wenn ihr starten hier ist never was must be hanging ignore and that's nicht was die bitte nur like earlier and as I said nicht auf als gehen wir listen to the enemy of the way books and nach muss wir vom und nach vielleicht auf und gehast das ja mein selber jetzt said was fast die wir listen area more from me again then what you see what from this hanging also and the shark is jetzt wo was from setting you jetzt siehst was jetzt no just don't say that no just don't see jetzt siehst du mal was
ist es da? Wow, zip our
Hey,
Nah, ja, circle, sharp, is this a thing? Circle, this is power, circle. Slurp, see the law, the headway, minute, and I got a circle. And I guess now we're in the world, and it's a matter, and they're all my son, and also Linux, yeah. Stay now, but the thing now, smart son gets out, go on, civil, and let's accept. Marson, I've not ever in a real sky net, her eastern roads, the last fleece blur. See, the history. This isn't it, but a circle lakes the city. I'm very nice. They can neither visit help him at all, but not every girl master no far rib. He makes it Marson, like you know.
Lord Slam, hey, happen, if on the so as it called, is cast they won even the best of us, seems to have to just see your we take it up the call, see the ups, as the best, but also say, when every seat of us got in there, and they did so with it, and the cast over so and still very say when I had said, well, fast year, we come, upskin, we're in all of them, in that there must say, and the shiz up in it was a weakness, long, can be the best. I mean, it was up there, see, Mac, no, I can go, new layer, but like our shop here, we mix and our set with no. Niet als niemand mag niet zo ja hou mich nicht so jemand suchen nach Jobs gesehen du sehr niemand Dinge nach Busch an der Weg in der Stoff und nicht auf der Tür das ich bin nur ein Busch an der Cheese hier ja wie süß was ich finde ist es so neben der Knasche so auch so ein Erlöf so die Augen gibt sind jung sind ei
Nah, I'm working like, you know, this is in the sky. Must get one, Miller, Sirts, Zebra, Fraying, their Starfloss, sauce, that allows there, I'll match see the Masul, her girl knows in the one, be that Rosalick Novella, and yes, snaps, that gamble, or he did it well, swore with all stand in the near circles, who are pathetic now, smurf. No, yes, look at cast, get that, and that, shall see Minix in the air was more for the sister of Phoenix at the Minix.
Nee, zijn er zeker safeties bij de BMR. Dat lang is in de voorbuurt. Toen hadden we meer mensen in de nacht nou. We staan dat is niet gratis meer. Jobs is de RSC op zijn lijn. Op zijn uit nou bij de kast neer op zijn loofijn. Iedereen men nou maar niet op zijn nacht nou buurt die op dan ik die is dus ja, maar zijn ja van nee van hem zit op. Zijn het vaag nou met nog iets naar huis. Dat was soms echt die is die van ik. Nou als je maar veel van man de film is snel gas nou is het and this dog's just one every year since this is Miami now. He's stuck down what's now circle the blitz thing of it on the gosh this is slick you little smack he's said the little smack the shark is now used everything it was east to the sign yeah hey all the went to nice with the opposite of not in ocean these things can be like that's news and the shark of folks have no what's usually see later that movie and that's where the cheese and get us now lord and now he used to call it as if you might want to catch on bush get there's now now as the next must have now she been in the end and this lord him sitting now he now gas in on the lot that they behind your thing because it's making that for this nice must and it just the steel team if you said there and these little Venus nesting happens all set Finnevi is not allowed but watching here and your obstacle live a light see the way his quality that these so be sniff but not if it
right by worth game no master like circle of fun even constant the law was to see if that is never must actually hear she and the money make it us in and asking so ships system that their alps so and the real lizard their alps gal the zero scary Gilmore and your the Linux and get the ready me brought circle that will one actually now sure for see if name out of this near was this game me mashed up so sir you roll over and you like such she said about that I can little McNuggets
Lord listening for me as ja hoofd ziet door de gasten naar dan so busy in our smurf heel mission nach biler rape was happen this yet so this need so mess bush and see nice hitting out in the famine or I am musical see can be with the layer of sig out yes and keep to go up sale or the nach massiv schnell is in VM man was it called seen him at see layer the street in it's but it auch you will see the more sheer at the house is the he's a and yes give zeigen has to feel about sneaking and shit. Little yes, you could say now, I'm fine. And ja, så fyra racing och på bästa och innan så mest det stämmer ju. Vi snart ni så vet face så access snart så vi kan ta vi stå för det också vi bara med nej vi är så she lost nail down.
No, ja, but the wolf master. That much little soft messy. That much loose, no laughing, and that or this, did our still a world. Yeah, I'm not no laughing, I don't know if they were sit there, they are when you are on seeing it, but there's not like still as seen it, I don't, this is now for this, I'm not gonna be here, will not know self but the one. So you see more from your shit snack so you sal up in the sea I need our thought when you nip the back in and the back and get in and it's no far spot we see fit
You know what I saw feel fat that when all that this it not there more sell one we are seeing him now once said we see snake by like now in the shop he was somewhere so gives no me for like away when else it a little hot and the final was the from our cheerleaders in it in for even singles now we are not okay the neighbor said looking at you here so need low fear from the rest on the because also it's flipping it laurel this is on the wash for so you see that has near with the lab but looking at how else sell little see it
I agree, yeah, well not real. Det is just en MC at vi hinner næsja. Gjelder helt for fieldstraps når åpne som bak, men så bare på stedet der ikke. Nei, så næsja. Og det der Ryansen gjelder off, så har snikken gjelder, så det vil ikke gjøre vi rev. Næsja, ikke noe næsja blod, det er oppstek, så det er der noe lukt, ja, for næsja, vi kan sikins, det var på næsja vi
No, I'm finding like helt absolut net push here. So the ways this on the aqua plus mingin all even gloves in the neck of the head. We are so side to the neck and like you see up in the video we exit is to be we are so you call beer but my dear had acknowledge that you know and you're word and all that said more fortunate one on the fed couldn't kept going about to be up seven over the here we're off or just in that so neither and the customer comes all year that's the LP acknowledge years that has thought lots this nick it's just door nuclear bigger
Hopes options tonight Daniels. Right, all ups in. Oh, nee, that you soon. Nip I had no concept of very human. Not every night, so there's this little we a little safe. Oh, I was that call borrow feels next safe. There's the douche mama. No, I get the recognition name of the name like an exercise net. This session is not night, much is it. The nurse came at like session and orange the longer running out there, still darker. Nick gets to me, Nick got up. Sharon and ex-girlfriend. Because it's not out.
Or for here for that I'm going to now shimmer from lighting back. Oh, the studio and yes, you get rid of Sharon neck of the earth and the earth and over here sort of but little in the earth even as Lord and now you make a minute seeking it so we get ready to know Michelle this in it and she was this not said more Sharon neck which next thing is see on Norway is the så was the Sherman neck out of me in this mark on beam on the so said more Sherman neck that like you were getting the floor and looking his back so New York City was no really read tell we oh feeps here that we are with a GBM he was this no beefy he was a staff of the way det är så sal nashing is like 70 has it up surf stå för de mer is det day
makes a surf strof her off giving you like skill in the last there's nights either من ايه بس نحكي ساب سكبري ساب فاش لنا في دقيش نحكي هذا هيك صار في لي رونكس او برو فوش نحكي في بنا قال ما ساعد برو فوش نحكي في قال ما سويت ما هي سلو كنا ما اي بنو يقطع هم يقولون يلفوا بيقول في بصاصي نعم سيدا ما كان يقتني نكسيل بركرل Smart dealer. Hij is hier om dat zelfs naar huis over een nieuw van jou zei.
Well, now myself feel he's the was makes of and now sneak thing like easy not able to get making on the belief to lead now make it's the at the bush the numbers now makes and I'm busy and it's a news discussion get the video bus so called lives now learn them not finding decision so the night it's suppose or the call even called Samsung is UCL or it's stem for what he loves in the so messed up the still off now if it's sub-zero get my seal real busy missing is he found me when so but it was in a hills enough
Surf now swinging a smith of a fiddle. Suis the moina, or ever and a suddenly. Sap. Stvelmen op en igniting op. Njash, and it was real surfer. No, we're gonna make the father. Sador, surfers, even next to now found my son. You were here, you know, this is. Nejul, nicht mehr idus, nicht alone, either well. Makes can roast now in this nickel. This guy, and it even the Zahinim, was smashed the elves out of front. Life is not wolves, get all wolves. Eesh, you're off, and you shall circles. Never see the lot, never see the little. My son exists birth, that like us just didn't cross it. And this guy more free alpha. Give, but that guy off with my hands, new girls. Gosh, this is funny, look at her, he's dead, and I get off, even extended arrow. Sir Carolina McNeil, this is the might, get licks north, must fall, get Phoenix now, Sir Carolina, the boss, not a wolf, you know, roll mash, the this guy, and more. See if they'll sit here with me, hours, this sound no. Hours, the Texas can send that, and then I said, like, the cash, and that they're off when you'll officer seen him, this feller, and I send our hero, this and sit the voice, they're off, and you'll must near Phoenix, so it's sneaky out here, if voice, or Monday, everything, not either, or sit earth, sit up, see if they're off, I guess, in the hours, next see. No, snap, get from it, and then it gets all soft mailer, even exterior, if I get yourself mashed for a lot, and email, sit the servers, but no, I can see like the servers, but at their servers, but in a boss, they want to see the sin. Up there, even extend. She was the sap and the iron to see sap and the lock of it, see in our gun as a girl gave me our sky.
Nu snart jag visste inte jag med från huset att ni ska uppsöka vad då ifrån jag mycket så det blir större ni vad hade ska så jag har ju för att kunna get lots genau så jag har get mig ner när jag har ordet så nej vad se på vad och ska vara så relax in på då så jag har clear woods nu cap så ni vi visen det så att samla och såna vilket ser jag när jag ska så jag det vad jag ska så det går fan jetzt and vi nog kan inte det är ska helt för så nej med det alpha if you're doing with us, but I'm not beyond scared. We're going to be toxic. You're looking at the view mere right on the sky outside. And I've never seen him before. It's good sitting there.
Yeah, what happened to Alex here? He was in the Thundaxi Mars in this button. Here helps out or barrel find air if our Sidax. This is there. He showed but wait on an agree. Snack, name real or snicks on the green him says show but blame the country. None sir. Hervers made their feeble see roll the one at the walls that are sure extra and the thought if so. Hervers be the mouse at the reverse when it's making it one and a circle sir the dash there no well those need him so fun because he caps and it's show trust. Then I still get to see him in the near he give a quite cash does it if and I'll match the dash no so him develop see lot of him search if hello, was that reverse, but it's all here, so no, what's the looks? Ain't him serious, so fun that what do you hear off who me the extras you got? Nope, yeah, fuck it, that actually been who is snow win him.
Ja, så åker jag shit och när man får för man sitter ni helt ser så jag säger ni mer för allt men det är jag ni har från den ska vara med mig och för blir ringa sig med när det går se när jag vill det mig helt ulspel och jag nog allt seriöst och en jag vill ha något inget sätt ni jag vill se så typ se det så jag ni eller vill se i det står om det ska det för vi ska han väl så vad jag vill jag inte och den också ska gå det har jag det så det så vad se dem sen jag vill för annars så jag vill nog så med något som vi som åt så länge skep när man ska också finna by mig när det even när så im sin först det var man sig i remix det var all sin chat all the way ska jag whatever det var så jag med den snart excursion in like sing of even the scene him said the colon up yeah the fuck yes the scene him while so just sitting out mix the chat girl skulle så done.
I'm an oral master in the man from it large sealer this is not the name of the voice for city is never from it. The video, well, I had excited him for us, Bob's new gears, and I roll for sign there's new gears, snake gate up. And the minute city, it's the area hero slayer with the Nick save him, boy, getting next to Gustle Earth, the near he does know what's mucker. And this is a bad near it has any middle area, he ever their name him. names in het man steken ik zo stress out with that. Oh ja, what the hell, free here old my spin at the man that I've been blaming on neither to see. Sneeuw sudden sits nega. Oh, for a year of these mixes. Er ook nou zijn alleen in mijn derde. Ik loop niet zo ook one als ook net is never zo nemen is een extra fine is not got reserve of in iron or the way mix the fall man this shit it's all heel bit everything is it still as see early yes that gets sitting belong it very still as enough yeah is limits in him refined the air get on this is the hair of what sitting but the wine yeah and or agree he dismisses these pieces of the strike
is missive I yes this but like you should tell you so let's see it's again that it's not like that so I'm such that so you see not all understand see right no yeah in learning the this nick is just so let's in him so end up in the skaze in him so must ja hat think it me after so ja yes no veskel before just see if me them in this and you use that to but again me wie the not sale bis lá net all the time of the bullying you so ja auf nach uns so ist so must ja in him think it up and give your chana well so must ja und ich jetzt sage geht auf Glück und das alles möchte ich sehen ganz vorbei hier wenn ich sehen es ganz so möchte auch muss ich glaube so ja wie das dort nicht das geben kann ich auf geht mir wird ja hat ich das so darum ist lo ob so wird fährt wir das wir eben mehr auf mir was in dem ist so kann das wird sehr ist so auf sehr klar sing ich sehe viele ja skills in ich da ist nicht die work ja läuft ja ich blue ja
Prayer Neil Carroll Yogi Buish Yogi Ra City. I must see city position. Hurry up, since I reach in the national dosis. Hello, that the Nichols and Akers Yaxis Norwich device nil. The word obstacle in the lists in the sky. Eating more guys during I sin. Was small cap not a house, so now see the must answer off net in the sky and reveal when the next day Nikki's and I can. Hurry, here's half of us, loss of safe earth, this Nick guys during I these. God, bluff, that's it out, and the sea here. He's in it, I'm getting it, lying it off my nerves, my foot, they wall. He never from my north, and I he's the German fun, it's the brief soft little bit of my Susan Alps, so this guy goes.
First of as so ich mir stehen wie ich gehe mit auch auf das alles so da muss man nicht nach von der Schaffen geblieben geschnappt ob so ja so ein gestiegen Platz hier rest nicht mehr wenn wir hier wo nicht nach der wieder so muss sehen sich nicht mehr aus sehr und noch ist sich nicht option fine oder das sehen los der Schaffen müssen so und einmal das nicht ist noch genau Stück wenn das in der Nacht nach geht ja das ist mir noch wirklich einmal noch das alles sieht wie nicht alles sieht und ist auf der Gastro nach noch mit diesem was nachher aber das mal fashion auch stehen mir hier wo wir müssen ja sein sich ja bei man in das Nordschaft war kann bis dual nach nicht an our sharp mit der Linie die sind war nicht die mehr in das Engel so durch bei der Ausstrahlung wir ihnen machen sich gehabt so was sie durch schnell mal dumm alles das sieht auf mir aus so ich müssen gegen das noch schaffen jetzt alles so all an der Shadows so you fast das alles so all da sie sicher bei der Arena noch in der Show ist das der will das say like hier works in the Cassie 50 stuff haben evaluate ja und
yeah, I'm sitting if look at Emerald Svan City on there in Emerald interesting to give it access in this search yeah had a lot on your pop you and this guy are off was the never sandy like Mars looking at it is a hitter the net or stand of the near when the game still as you steal outlines knee I must miss off and there you can just call belt but send us that or stand and then I don't get a girl over than see thinners not a Susan and I beat a very that roller never and yeah just near ruin the so yeah holes so you can get air surfer in this guy ever for smash the
Hoeveel kan zo'n schuif is zo echt wel is dan ook echt idee. We spelen wel en er zijn zo goed. Ook die nou met om in te zien. Zeg dat het wel zien in alles nog. Hoeveel heb je zo zien? Alles de wees in de shift. Dat maar als je een heel veel man er wat zeggen ik heb in de schaam maar heel wunsch best hier. We zien je negen er heel skills zo en dan nou heb je zo weer uit nee. Oh en al een schade. Oh je was nog wat ik zal alles dat in de kast zo de stops al een air side voor ik niet skate. Dat is een heel wunsch. Oh boven op stops en af champs nou zeg ik heb ik juist alles dat je in de worst Gus the chin if was get all as the wish na se was not got away from that and said that there's no modify.
En gider de really fall zien initiative en I restaan getting. Was that in the sky out very hills in the air. Still as there's niet naar nul beginning in mud or stick misu. Fall still as it should if Nick the beam snips off near it. There wasn't well you get no get up off sit get Nick is from the straw. Single deep said that single let's muckery in there subs ja för oss master för no kan see their scheme it's not we must actually go right so the fact is off was they said land Mizahi he said well off in this guy no he sits not we stars in the chamber from Oxford Jersey I'm starting to mix own roll glad I could even know see that upside you kind of I'm not saying it mustn't go see finish guy or Sarah Nemo Manila English did it give you I'm asking I'm not all cynics in this or no well it's that bit Nemo give me see that these needed it be you sky get a little fucking niggers and you live on it or that off sticks that I'm not gonna stay
And you're the best but let's see. Wow.
Nurse you under it off singular position you get on the shake a little yeah you're if and this is not morning so now I'll be in low ornament like yeah I'm not very it's the best it doesn't know so the frequency fan but the locks and you look like it upside
Nashkart min loch is in oil wishing skraf i begynn at bilen shift here så läs ut vad jag kan nu och så med från uppsats det sitt galla hörs är många skraf i name loch i orching vet väl på lats se styrsen jag ser hörs styrst där kan vara en att jag också snörs no missing i loch det är vet så nach ist well we're saying om vi on snörs måste länge nach vi vill så en jag väl sing LSD hörs är det nach hörs det hörs alles wishing så snägela i refsing i stoff för det var inte löst alla då för det sing löst universum Alfred was nu als die as die ook niks boost til ADL is nog så snop så je wat just on no the one ja wel no I do for no well så dat niet als je wat je op de site dus nog aan is zo is heel veel de van je version ik ben nog niet wat zien niet maar wel is nog het kon zien aan in dat je dus aan dat review ik zei dit is nou is dat nog leer was in de schat
Ralph not a shot Dag aan water ik naar was neer gedaan dat chin if die single dat nationaal virus must ja sneem het niet recht als er no really single dat dit nou rustig Sloren him in the north, and it's like you shine there as field. You have Sloren him in now, having him so full in it. He lead him at the Galaxy, the last rule, and then I was there. Just like you're off, listening to looking at all this. Or he still, I see the box not taking the gland at the thought, yeah, more. What's the looking to be as the first thing? Fast, you're if my with the box not out, we just see so, no, I was still. He's still in, but there's near but the minutes here, the opposition, not learning and bring out how big you said I let on. My ring not, I said I let on, the sky. Or he'll series ear sit yes just right series and my keeps this alive was that yeah will not land the earth and still as Zeus never knows it the way this on a single nest eat he's sit 500 well as Nick has sit the bot in that guy off when I seen him and now so he goes you know, and they'll whatever sitting in that's an origin mistake. Hero or Schneider, by else they call this decision I'm different. Hold I but fast it as then you know fine.
I'm in the LSE here. And yeah, you'll leave it in the single girls. They will weird now. I see the English guy gets best all without my thing. Yeah, when he means if it'll leave me decent out to and unless me more folks said it. You'll see your hand like self. That's neither should be because it's not going to be the mouth of me. No, was worse than the girl. Specifically, the girl I've seen him as you need everything on there. We see my girl. So that is here. Let's see how many leeway. Ocean came out about the naps give nurse to the one lang hilbeza and get us even getting a vision sky see was hanging out they opposite the somehow so we're very for that middle of the nurse looking at the nurse again with tradition and very effective is all yelled up and a valley of no which do we have us on yours do up no stone
He'll come on to get now how rough I do is the other and that's the LP you should see that all what they can decide or to serve oh revolt air so oh man that Girl foxy what out we drill miss a mountain this may this see that roll for dreamers not showing an ash getting these her vet back what out dreamers not a lot of gaps get on this yeah doing him but and I was such doing the maps and early proper was showing an ash not
Something anxious van is sharpen and active about who you shit who's net see those the egg in it now play out yes home some stairs I had egg in no for one of it was for they can actually yeah well for get all out of some you see as I bear always maybe nish got else well I think I share those seems that here with our alpha the nördiga figures of them on the back to us and the share which is underneath not the past also because they will now we know when they will heal figure but not stay we need to look at the person of the office nurse the vi då är flytande sig surfen i när växna där så att all bestämning är nu att vad hade innan att gången var så många veckor det är när ske runt like så bara då att det när ske med exal det är med nam är så för jag nu att det familjön det där sing är sig these är hus nu så för jag ska se in sen med den att som är så det jag lägger upp oss i köket och jag i nog ingen share of that ska live så because you end up yourself we're am more share of the person this your guy in the köket att ska live this how here of the skills the chat ni vill skills det är
Easy be. Make yelling the chat and make the gaze and all. Seal makes its lips east for us. Oh, and that. They'll be locked, not already fell off the scraps is her film up in the area he him. The earth man make his neat much netter. Smake these go here if I've wished just fan that.